To the courts, the High Court has lifted the ban on shisha, declaring the continued enforcement of its prohibition unconstitutional. Justice Bahati Wamunya said the public health control of shisha smoking rules of 2017 had ceased to have effect after the government failed to regularize them within the period directed by the earlier court. Separately, rally driver Maxine Wahome has been acquitted of the murder of fellow rally driver Assad Khan, with the High Court finding that the prosecution failed to establish a prima facie case for conviction. Details of this and other stories from the courts on Scales of Justice.
Following a nearly 3-year trial, the High Court acquitted rally driver Maxine Wahome of the murder of her late boyfriend Assad Khan, finding that the prosecution had failed to prove beyond any reasonable doubt her hand in his death.
Therefore, to prove the charge of murder, the prosecution is expected to prove the 3 elements beyond reasonable doubt. That is the fact of death, the death was caused by an unlawful act or omission, and the accused caused the voluntary unlawful act or omission, and it was of malice aforethought.
The case arose from Khan's death in December 2022 after he sustained injuries during a domestic altercation at their Nairobi apartment. Justice Lilian Nabwire Mutende reviewed testimonies from 29 prosecution witnesses.
We all say we are very grateful at the end of the day that the ends of justice were met. We are grateful that the court saw through the farce, through the evidence, and acquitted her with no case to answer.
Elsewhere, a probation officer at Kangema Locus in Murang'a County, Julius Irungu, pleaded not guilty to bribery claims. He was released on a bond of 800,000 Kenyan shillings. The prosecution has applied for summons to be issued against Senior Principal Magistrate Martin Mutegi, who has not turned up in court.
The prosecution has sought the issuance of summons. The request is granted. Accordingly, summons shall issue, requiring the second accused, that is Martin Kinyua Mutegi, requiring the second accused to appear before this court on 30th July 2026.
And 3 FBI agents who are facing terrorism-related charges at the Kahawa Anti-Terrorism Court have been acquitted. The Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions withdrew the case, citing insufficient evidence to sustain the prosecution. The trio, Patrick Osoi, also known as the Sixth, Jackson Kuria, Elias Kopshakur, and Hiram Kimathi, all associated with the Fighting Brutality and Impunity movement.
The case has really affected our lives. We never lived normal life, because you can imagine getting out there, myself traveling internationally, people looking at me as terrorist is not a simple thing.
Bruce Mayoyo, Good Morning Kenya.